Hey guys, it's Tori, and today I'm doing like a sort of wrap-up, reading chat, a little bit of a TBR kind of situation. I originally did make a vlog for July, but I just ended up feeling like I just don't have time to edit as much as I used to, so I thought I would include my montage clips in this video and then just do one clip where I'm kind of discussing what I've been reading and some thoughts on things going on. So I guess let's just go into my little montage of the month. Mostly I just did a little bit of book shopping, and then I did have a family reunion that I'd got a few clips from, so I'll play those and then we'll come back and discuss a few things that have happened this month.
I met her at a backyard block party by the bar. She kept looking at me like she knew who I was. Depending on the street, I bet you I definitely in the top 3 good looking girls on the street. Depending on the street. And when I saw you at my mate's place, I thought, what is she doing? I asked Dave if he's gonna make a move on you. He's not sure. I said, Dave, you mind if I do? He says he doesn't mind, but I can tell he kinda minds. But I'm gonna do it anyway. What a friend. See you standing all alone by the stereo. I dim the lights down very low. Here we go. You're so beautiful. You could be a waitress. You're so beautiful. You could be an air hostess in the 60s. You're so beautiful. You could be a part-time model. Just me and you and several other dudes around you on the dance floor. I draw you near, let's get out of here. Let's get in a cab. I'll buy you a kebab. And I can't believe that I'm sharing a kebab with the most beautiful girl I had ever seen with a kebab. Ooh.
So yeah, book shopping as usual is great. I did only pick up a couple of things, mostly some Bookish candles, and then I ended up purchasing Lolita from my local used bookstore. It was actually an unhaul primarily that I was doing that day, and so you would have seen some footage from that. Like I said, there's also a very close by little free library that is so cute that you would have seen that I just really wanted to check out for the first time, so I did go there briefly and then went to my local used bookstore with the rest of my supplies, the rest of my unhaul, I guess is a better word for it. And then I did also attend Shakespeare Festival at the end of the month, but I do have a separate vlog for that I will do, and so you'll be able to see all of my thoughts in that whole event there. It's not going to be terribly long, I think, so I should be able to edit it without too much drama, so that will come probably in a couple of weeks. Oh gosh. So first of all, let's talk about the books I read this month, and then we'll go into some thoughts for next month on reading and filming. So I only finished 2 books this month, which I'm a little bit sad about, but it's just kind of the way it worked out between me still being in a reading slump. I was still working through it, and then I feel like now I'm out of it, but I'm still struggling to find time to read with all of my new projects, which I totally know I can. I just really need to make sure I'm creating more of a detailed plan for my day, and I also just need to get myself motivated to pick up books. I am motivated to read, like I want to read everything. I'm in that kind of mood, but I also struggle to like get started with reading. So let's, like I said, talk about what I read this month. So the first book I finished was Booth by Karen Joy Fowler. I really enjoyed this book. I think I ended up on 4.5 stars. It's definitely one that I don't know what the staying power with it will be, so I'm going to have to see. But really the biggest thing I loved about this book was that the writing was so beautiful. It drew me right in, and it did get me out of my reading slump actually, because the writing was such an enjoyable thing to read. This follows the family of John Wilkes Booth and just basically goes through their lives. We're exploring their relationships, and then we explore a little bit of the fallout after he assassinates President Lincoln. We see how his family responds, and part of the inspiration for this book was the author was considering with recent shootings that have been going on, especially this year. Actually, I mean, when she would have started writing this, it would have been a couple years ago. But either way, there has been a rise over the past several years in mass shootings, and she took time to think about the families of the perpetrators, and so that's what inspired her to write this book. And so I think it's very timely for that reason. This book's definitely not going to be for everyone. It's definitely a very relationship-driven story, and the writing style is such that I really liked it, but that may not sell everybody. And I wouldn't say it's necessarily a blow me out of the water type story. It was just a very well written version of what it is, and I really enjoyed it a lot. Potentially could be on my favorites of the year. I'm not sure yet. Like I said, I want to see what staying power it has, because it hasn't been super strong, unfortunately, but I do think it's a wonderful book, and I understand why it was nominated for several awards within this past year or so. Then the other one I finished was American Phoenix by Jane Hampton Cook. This is a nonfiction following John Quincy Adams and Louisa Adams, his wife, as John Quincy served as a minister to Russia and really helped to build American relationships with other countries, especially through the War of 1812, which was kind of like the second war of independence against Great Britain, where after that it was like official that America was recognized as its own country, so they played a big role in that. Unfortunately, I only gave this like 2.5 stars, 3 stars on Goodreads, because the subject matter was very interesting, but the way it was written I really didn't like. First of all, the author had a lot of very over dramatic single sentences like at the end of chapters and things like that, and often those dramatic end of chapter sentences didn't really pay off for me. Like, we found out what happened next and it wasn't actually that dramatic. So that was weird. And then it was written in this way where there were a lot of times where the author felt the need to explain things that people who know about history already know about. And a lot of the time it was meant to make a point, so she wanted to make sure you understood her point, because if you didn't understand this thing about history or didn't understand this word, then you wouldn't fully understand her point. But I'm like, you know what? This is a niche enough book that the type of person who reads this is already gonna know this stuff. Like, there's this whole chapter where she repeatedly brings up the fact that they didn't have phones back then. And I understand she's making a point of, like, they couldn't contact people very fast and that caused problems, emotional and logistical mental problems. But like, I already know that, and I don't need you to say that. Like, it just was over dramatic and just very condescending in its tone because of those descriptions and definitions and explanations that didn't need to be there. And there were even some really corny, she was like, had to do so many metaphors and analogies, like all of these really corny analogies throughout this whole book, and I was just like, I can't. Like, she'd say things like the bald eagle of the sea, and I was like, I can't. Luckily, it wasn't so bad that I did finish it, and like I said, I thought the subject matter was interesting. You can tell that this author really cared about the subject matter, otherwise she wouldn't have written this. And she did a great job exploring the emotions behind a lot of what was going on in a way that I appreciated, but I just did not like her writing style and her descriptions and stuff. I thought they were corny and over the top, and yeah, didn't love it. But I'm glad I read it because I did learn a good amount about John Quincy and Louisa Adams, and really a lot of the political background behind the War of 1812 that I didn't know about. So that was great enough, and yeah, I wouldn't necessarily recommend it unless you're interested in that topic, but just go in knowing that there's some over the top sentences and things in there. The rest of my time, so I will say actually really quick, I did DNF a few books. I DNF'd The American by Henry James because I just did not care about the characters. I was really continuing to read because I just wanted to keep reading in general, and I was like, I may as well use that motivation to keep reading to read something I actually am interested in. So I DNF'd that. I also DNF'd Mary Queen of Scotland and the Isles by Margaret George. I just have not been really in the mood for that kind of stuff. Specifically, for a while I was really interested in fictional works that were written from the perspective of a real historical figure, and so we're really exploring them on a more emotional level. And I just recently have decided I'm actually right now more in a mode where if I'm gonna read about Mary Queen of Scots or Elizabeth I or any of those, the Tudors or Wars of the Roses or any of that, right now I'm more in the mood to read about them in nonfiction, especially the Tudors. I feel like Wars of the Roses I can always bounce back and forth, but there's just certain things, like I'm just less interested in reading books from the perspective of real historical figures right now, at least for certain time periods and certain kinds, like a lot of that Renaissance medieval kind of royalty stuff that I was into for a while. I just haven't really been interested. So I decided to DNF that, and I did unhaul that one. I may someday come back to it. I want to give Margaret George a fair chance because I will say I was enjoying that one. Like, it was definitely not because I didn't like it for some reason, that specific book. In fact, I thought it was really good. I just am not in the mood for that kind of story right now, and I don't think I will be for a long time. So that's why I decided to unhaul it, even though potentially I'd be willing to come back to it again. It's just, I know it's gonna be years and years, probably, most likely. I mean, you never know what's going to happen with your tastes and moods, but that's what I would assume, is it's gonna be a long time before I'm back into that mode. So I believe that's it as far as DNFs go. There may have been one or two others, but that's all I can really remember. So no Jane Austen, unfortunately. I did do a quick skim run through of Emma, so I did get a little bit in, but that was for an episode for my podcast, so I didn't like deep read it or anything. I just kind of spark noted and then flipped through to get some quotes that I was needing and stuff like that. But anyway, at least what I did complete were both American history stuff, which was what I started the month wanting to do. As for this next month, I just want to get my physical TBR of non-classic fiction works down so bad, and now I got book of the month, which is great and I'm excited about it, but it does mean that I'm going to get regular books coming in, and so I need to pick up the speed a little bit. So I'm thinking August I'm going to be focused a lot more on non-classic fiction and just trying to plow through as much as I possibly can. That is my goal. I do have some things going on this month. My church is putting on a big young single adults conference kind of thing throughout most of the month. So like every weekend throughout the majority of the month, there's something going on, and it's actually for all young single adults within our church or without. Like, it doesn't really matter. The theme is just together in Christ, so it can be anyone from any background who wants to come. There's going to be a concert with One Republic and Jordan Sparks and Jordan Fisher. Is that the other guy's name? I can't remember. It was going to be Tori Kelly, but she was in an accident, so she was swapped out for Jordan Sparks. Then we'll have a dance dance. They have a 5K fun run, which I'm not able to go to, but they'll have a big dance, which I signed up for because my sister wanted to, and so we're going together. And then we have like an afternoon day conference where there's a lot of talks going on and different activities and stuff throughout the whole day, and then the final day will be a talk provided by one of our church leaders. So yeah, I'm going to be doing that a lot, so I'll probably get footage from all of those experiences. Oh, I think I may have included some 4th of July celebrations in my montage as well. I didn't think about that, but that did happen at the beginning of July, so you may have seen that as well in my montage if you were confused. So yeah, really reading, I'm just going to read whatever I'm in the mood for, and it's probably primarily going to be non-classic fiction, and then I hopefully will get back into a little bit more classics in September. And then of course October I'll for sure be in the classics realm. So it may be like now is pretty much only non-classic fiction, and then September will be a mix, and then we'll be doing pretty much only classics in October. But we'll see. I may pick up a classic this month if it piques my fancy at some point. So I've found that I've been catching up a lot more on my booktube listening, watching, and I've found that when I listen to people who are talking a lot about classics, I get really pumped to read classics, and then when I listen to a bunch of videos where they're talking about books that aren't classics, I get really excited for that. So I've been very back and forth, so we'll see what happens. As far as videos, I'm going to try to get back into more of a routine than I have been in July. Part of the problem is we've had podcast episodes that have been really long. Our recordings have been a lot longer than they were to start off with, and so it's hindered my ability to keep up quite so much with editing and the balance between editing, but I think I'm figuring out a system now where hopefully I'll be able to get it to work, and hopefully we'll be able to keep our chats about books and films on our podcast a little shorter. Hopefully. We'll see. We'll work on it. But anyway, I think that's pretty much it. All I have to say, if you have any videos you'd like to see from me, let me know. I've just been going back and forth on what I want to do. I think this month is mostly taken up because I have my Shakespeare Festival vlog, and then I also have a vlog I filmed back in May, okay? May of this year, months ago, which was me reading Assassin's Quest, which is the 3rd book in the Farseer trilogy, and I've been wanting to vlog my whole experience with that, and I still haven't posted that. So luckily I haven't read any more from the Realm of the Elderlings, which I guess I should say I'm vlogging my journey through the Realm of the Elderlings series of series. So yeah, I haven't started any more of that. I was hoping to start Brandon Sanderson, but I think I might bring that up in another video where I'm like, I may put Brandon Sanderson on hold for a little bit because I feel like I've been more in the mood for Life Ship Traders by Robin Hobb than I've been in the mood to reread Mistborn by Brandon Sanderson. So we'll just see what happens, but I also don't really want to buy more books because I'm trying to get this mess down. But then if I reread Mistborn, then it's not actually getting this mess down either. So I don't really know what to do. Anyway, we'll see what happens. Again, let me know if you have other videos though that you'd like to see from me that you've been thinking of when I brought stuff up. I would love to hear. I think I'm gonna end this video here. You got this nice little thrown together. It's like almost my bedtime, but I was like, I need to get this filmed because I think I'm gonna edit it tomorrow. Anyway, I'm rambling now. Thank you again for watching. I hope you are having a wonderful day, a wonderful reading week. Thank you again so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!